Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Rory with Roar in the Jungle, and today we're going to be discussing what the Bengals can do to honor former players and why the hell don't they? The rest of the league seems to honor their players pretty well, but the Bengals' past players feel like they're being neglected. We're going to discuss what they can do to make their players feel more appreciated in the future, and we'll also discuss 5 players that probably should be in the NFL Hall of Fame, but I feel like are being snubbed because they're Bengals. All right, let's get to the intro. Boom.
Do you want it though? Where do I begin? I see the hate, they don't wanna see me win. Bank deposits, I got more coming in. Top down, throw the money in the wind. I don't want it all. Heard he scammer, had to switch up the accounts. Moving paper, gotta call it my account.
So this tweet right here by Willie Anderson is actually the reason why I'm making this video. Here recently after Ken Riley's passing, a lot of Bengals legends are actually talking about why don't the Bengals honor them more. So I thought this is a good discussion that we should get into. Alright, so what I think the Bengals can do to honor their players is maybe do a Bengals Hall of Fame, maybe. Where, you can, just enshrine your players, like put their names and jerseys and stuff like that in the rafters so that fans can see them, and it helps them to remember their history. I'm sure Bengals players have been wanting this for a long time because I feel like they've been neglected. After they retire or they leave, they're just, their legacy is just kind of forgotten because the Bengals don't really do a good job of promoting their ex-players. Like they could do like the Steelers, the Ravens, the 49ers, the Cowboys, or all these other teams that bring back their players on like a Monday or Thursday night game and during prime time and like really show off their history. The Bengals can do this, and I think it brings their crowd in and the fans in, and brings a more historic atmosphere to Paul Brown Stadium. It's a really easy way to drum up marketing, and the Bengals are just missing the mark on this. I really feel the 50-year anniversary thing was pretty cool, but imagine that like every year with a certain player, and it gives hope to the future players that might want to, if they do something like that, might want to stay with Cincinnati and continue their career here, and maybe not feel like their career is wasted. So, a few days ago, a Bengals legend by the name of Ken Riley passed away, and this is a huge loss for Bengals culture. He is one of the very few Bengals that absolutely deserves a Hall of Fame spot. He is the fifth all-time in interceptions. He has 18 fumble recoveries. He's a 3-time All-Pro, and he played 15 seasons with the Bengals. His best season was his last season, the season he retired. He had I think 9 picks at the age of 35. He just had more in the tank and still retired. So, there's that. But what's honestly an even bigger tragedy is that the Bengals themselves really haven't honored him all that much. Ken Riley needs to be up in the rafters with Anthony Munoz, Ken Anderson, and himself. Those are the 3 probably greatest Bengals of all time as of right now. I think Geno Atkins and AJ Green are going to be up there eventually, but as of right now, the fact that the Bengals aren't honoring their players more is a tragedy. So another way the Bengals can really cement their legacy is a really easy concept: retire football numbers. This is such an easy thing to do. Let's starting with Anthony Munoz, number 78. No one should ever wear that number as a Bengal ever again. He is the greatest Bengal of all time. This is easy, and this is, just do it. He's highly regarded as the best offensive lineman of all time, and that's part of your history. Just retire that number, put it up in the rafters, and just let the fans soak that in. It's an easy thing to do, and the Bengals should really consider doing it. I think in the future, if the trajectory keeps going, people like Geno Atkins or even Willie Anderson can be up there with them, or maybe even Andrew Whitworth. Those are just the caliber of guys that can be up there also. Do I think it will happen? Probably not, but it's such an easy concept. The Bengals should just do it already. So next I'll be discussing 5 players that I think are worthy of the NFL Hall of Fame. but I think I could settle with them just being in the Bengals Hall of Fame and having them enshrined in our own culture. These players have just phenomenal resumes, and they should be remembered within Bengals culture for forever. The Bengals need to just straight up just do whatever they can to make sure these players feel like they're wanted within the culture and to be remembered in the future by future fans. They need to be appreciated, and they should be enshrined in some way, whether it be banners, a bust, a just retiring of the numbers, something. These are the 5 players that I think are worthy of that. Oh, and I'm not including Anthony Munoz because he's already enshrined in the Hall of Fame, and it's just kind of a no-brainer that he would be in there. So I'm talking about 5 players that I think that are worthy that are not in there right now. So first on the list of Bengals that need to be enshrined is the one and only Ken Riley. He is one of the greatest Bengals of all time and needs to be honored as such. His career with the Bengals was storied. He played 15 years with the Bengals, and he went to a Super Bowl with them, and he is probably their greatest DB of all time. He himself is 5th all time in the interception stat, so that's pretty insane. He's up there with Dick Night Train Lane and some other great guys. The fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame in general is it's just incredible that he is overlooked to the degree that he is. I believe the reason why he's so overlooked is because he played for the Bengals, and that is just horseshit, if you ask me. That's crazy. This man is an absolute legend, and he should be remembered as such. Ken Riley was one of the greatest Bengals of all time, and his story needs to be echoed on through Bengals lore for generations to come. Rest in peace, Ken. Sleep well, bro. Alright, next up is Ken Anderson, and what can I say but...
It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries.
No, but for real, Ken Anderson's one of the greatest Bengals of all time. He led the Bengals to a Super Bowl, and he, for his generation, was one of the greatest passers of all time. He is an absolute legend, and, it's pretty common knowledge that he's probably one of the best players of all time not in the NFL Hall of Fame, and he is a 2-time finalist for the NFL Hall of Fame, so he should definitely be in the Bengals Hall of Fame. So this one was actually a pretty tough one for me because it was either David Fulcher or Boomer Esiason. I decided to go with David Fulcher because I just wanted to give him some love. David was an absolute beast for the Bengals. You could say he was the Troy Polamalu before Troy Polamalu. He grew up in the Dick LeBeau defense before he was a Pittsburgh Steeler. If you don't know about David Fulcher, just look up highlights of him during the Super Bowl. He absolutely took over. He was one of the reasons why they were in that Super Bowl in the first place. David Fulcher is an absolute beast, and he should be remembered in Bengals history as one of the greatest. I want to learn more about David Fulcher. He did an interview recently with D&H Sports, and it's absolutely captivating. I learned a lot from it, and that's why I put him on this list. So we have up next Willie Anderson, who is a no doubt Hall of Fame potential candidate. This guy is an absolute monster, and he's probably one of the greatest right tackles of all time. This man in 13 years only allowed 16 sacks against prime competition week in, week out. We're talking guys like Bruce Smith, DeMarcus Ware, Julius Peppers, you name it, he blocked them. And he blocked the hell out of them. The fact that he hasn't even been thought of for the Hall of Fame is an absolute travesty. And it's just, yet again, the Bengals are just thought less of. At the very least, the Bengals should honor Willie because he is one of the great ambassadors for the Bengals. He is constantly doing interviews, talking about them, and he's just an all-around great guy that needs to be remembered in Bengals history. He is one of the greatest Bengals of all time, and he needs to be remembered in that way. All right, last but certainly not least is the man, the myth, the legend. Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Chad Ochocinco, a.k.a. 85, baby. So, no doubt the most popular Bengal of all time, just based on the media, based on the players, based on the coaching staff. He is an all-around loved being within the Bengals organization, and he for sure needs to be in the Bengals Hall of Fame, and possibly even the NFL Hall of Fame, because the whole thing with you can't tell the story of the NFL without saying this player's name. Chad Johnson fits that to the T for the Bengals. You can't talk about the Bengals without thinking of Chad Johnson. So in my eyes, he meets the criteria, and he should be remembered in the lore for Cincinnati in that way also, because I know he does for me. He's the reason why I'm a Bengals fan.
There's three things in life that's certain: death, taxes, and 85 will always be open.
Alright guys, I hope you appreciate my thoughts on how the Bengals should treat their players. If you have any ideas for future videos, I would love to hear it. Just, whatever in the comments section. I need ideas. It is the off season, and I need help creating content that you might want to watch. But if you did enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps a lot. And you know what? I appreciate you so much. Thank you for helping my channel grow. But as it goes, it's a new day for the Who Day faithful. Thank you so much. One love. Everybody love everybody. Thank you.